X out of this stuff here. All right, Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rechak. Double honors to the apostles and out of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. On the brother Ainaf from GMS Dallas, and have the elder Yatazak here as well from GMS Dallas. And we are finishing out chapter 11 of Second Esdras. We're doing a series on the book of Second Esdras, but we kind of went into detail a little bit more to go into with this chapter because of the history that played out, and we didn't even go into all of it. We'd be doing a lesson for going in this chapter for a month, 2 months if we really went deep into the history of this time period. We did still kind of go into some detail, but definitely study up on this. There's a lot of history in around this time period that Second Esdras 11 talks about in general. All right, we left off in verse 32, and in verse 32, all right, basically it's talking about the Flavian dynasty, all right, during the rule of Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. All right, so we're going to continue in verse 32 and throughout the rest of the chapter, and Lord willing, Abaratazah, this will be edifying. All right, so Second Esdras 11 and verse 32, it says, but his head put the whole earth in fear, excuse me, and bear rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression. Okay, and basically, when you look at Vespasian's rule, okay, we're going to go to Vespasian. During Roman Judean War. Okay, here we go. Right, it says Vespasian was a highly capable Roman general sent by Emperor Nero. So before Vespasian ended up being what number? I believe it would be the 10th emperor of Rome or Caesar of Rome.
Yep.
He was a Roman general first, right? Which lets you know he was a man of war. All right. It says now remember, he came into power in December of 69 AD, right? So before Nero committed suicide in I believe it was 68 AD. Okay, a year before that, all right, Vespasian was sent by Emperor Nero to suppress the first Jewish-Roman war. Okay, it says, and that was Israel. That was basically Israel rebelling, revolting against the Roman Empire, similar to what was done during the Grecian, the Maccabean revolt. Right. It says he methodically recaptured Galilee, okay, which we know Galilee is Samaria. Okay, the Sea of Galilee is basically, in around where a lot of like, for example, the apostles pretty much were, mostly all of them were from Galilee, and he did in that area, and he did most of his teachings in that area. Right. It says using a strategy of systematic sieges, destroying resistance outside of Jerusalem. So it took years to actually for this to come into fruition, right? But it says and enslaving the population. So ultimately they were successful at that, right? It says after being declared emperor in 69 AD, which CE is Common Era, AD, Anno Domini, same thing, right? It says he left the final successful assault on Jerusalem to his son Titus in 70 AD. So that's where when we make mention of 70 AD, which we brought up last week when we went into Matthew 24th chapter, starting around the 15th verse on down, right? Basically talking about, that time when that was short to come, all right? That at that time that basically Israel was gonna be persecuted, and Jerusalem was gonna be taken over again, okay? And so you can go into more about the history on that, but that lines right up, all right, with this scripture here in verse 32. All right, because we broke down the heads and everything like that in the last lesson, but the head that was that it was in the middle was Vespasian, the father. Okay, it says, but his head put the whole earth in fear, and bear rule over it, and and bear rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression, and it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. Okay, so think about that. At this time, the Roman Empire was still expanding. Okay, which is why they pretty much were oppressing, or excuse me, well, yeah, oppressing, but quelling any rebellions that was going on in their territories and their provinces, and also expanding their land. Matter of fact, let me go on a chat GPT, all right, our handy chat GPT, right, and ask, did Vespasian expand the borders of the Roman Empire? Okay. Expand the borders of the Roman Empire. I know I spelled that a little wrong, but come on, bruh. Don't play around. Is this Chat GPT or is this some different shit?
What you trying to spell?
No, it's like not letting me actually search it for some reason. How can I help you? Let's try this. That's interesting. I guess you can't use it unless you sign in now. It used to not be like that. You used to just go, straight to Chat GPT, or maybe I'm on the wrong website. Let's try it again. It's really I don't know if it's trying to, I guess you got to log in now to
Shit,
okay,
go to
there we
that
go.
free Google. Go to that
No,
free Google AI.
no, yeah, we got it right here. No, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. From now on, I didn't know, because on my phone I'm already logged in, but I guess with this shit, I don't know if they're trying to make you. But
Yeah.
okay, here
So
we go.
we ain't doing an extra chat GPT. We got the truth.
Yeah, yeah, they're trying to get uppity. We already know the answer. We already know the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We just
So,
try to see what y'all hoes talking about.
right. Facts. Okay. So it says yes, Vespasian did expand the borders of the Roman Empire, though not as dramatically as emperors like Trajan, which he came. I think he was one of the five good emperors, if I'm not mistaken, or he came. I know he came after Titus and Domitian. So so Trajan was, this was after that, this time period that we're going into right now. But it says he was a founder of the Flavian dynasty, all right, and came to power after the chaotic year of the four emperors. Okay, territorial expansion under Vespasian. Britain, okay, the most significant expansion during his reign happened in Britain. Okay, he continued the Roman conquest in Britain. Okay, consolidation in the East. Here we go. So after the Jewish revolt, Roman control over Judea was firmly reasserted following the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, completed under his son Titus. Okay, because basically, once you become emperor or Caesar, you can't necessarily like be out there like that as a general. So his son Titus finished the job. It says while this wasn't a new territory, it strengthened and reorganized Roman provincial control. Uh, it says also frontier strengthening rather than large scale conquest. Vespasian heavily focused on strengthening the Rhine and the Danube frontiers. expanding roads and fortifications in border regions, especially in Germany and the Balkans. Okay, so it says, unlike Augustus or Trajan, Vespasian's reign was more about stabilization and consolidation after a civil war, because there was, a civil war pretty much going on at that time. So during that time, that stabilization and consolidation required for him to oppress Israel, okay, and basically everybody that was under that Roman Empire that was trying to buck up, okay. And it says, and it had governance. What does governance mean? Okay, let's look that word up. The etymology of governance. The etymology of, thought I had an etymology tab up. Governance, act or manner of governing. Okay, rule. Here we go. Rule, administration, rule of conduct. Okay, to rule or command. Okay. Uh, okay, to govern, which basically control, to rule with authority. Okay, so they had rule over or an authority of the world more than any other Caesar. Okay, and going back here, and a precept to that. All right, let me see. Yeah, precept to that is going to be Revelation 12. Okay, Revelation 12 and 13. It says, and when the dragon, and this dragon is talking about the Roman Empire, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. And basically that man child is going into Yahweh Shah. Okay. It says, and the woman, and to the woman were given two wings, because ultimately when Yahweh Shah came on the scene, right, that was the paradigm shift, like Elder Ariel likes to say, and that caused the whole movement within Israel and especially that area of Judea. Okay, and persecution of the believers of Yahweh Shai resulted from that. All right, it says, and to the woman were given two wings of a great eagle. Okay, this ain't talking about the eagle in Second Esdras 11. Just talking about basically how we were able to flee from the remnant, I should say, of the Southern Kingdom that was actually able to escape and eventually ended up in West Africa. Right, so it says they're given two wings of a great eagle that she might fly into the wilderness, into a place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So that during that time that we were basically away from our land, okay, when we fled in 70 AD, the destruction of the temple, all the way up until when Esau came, on the west coast of Africa and brought us over here to Babylon the Great. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it on that. Continuing on in verse 33, it says, and after this, I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings. Okay. So Vespasian eventually, right, he died. It says, but there remained the two heads, okay, his sons, Titus and Domitian. Okay, which we touched on the last time, the Ark of Titus. You can go into it, look up pictures of it. There's replicas of the Ark of Titus, multiple replicas throughout the world. All right, so that's a key time period that his devil is proud of. Okay, and the actual Ark of Titus from 2,000 years ago still exists today. To this day, you can see it in public. All right. It says, verse 34, but there remained the two heads, which also in the like sort ruled upon the earth and over those that dwelt therein. Okay. It says, and I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it devoured it that was upon the left side. Okay. And let me get this scripture here. Second Esdras. It's actually in the next chapter. but I want to keep that tab. Second Esdras 12.
Bro, you can get an Archer Titus keychain.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, well, I
Oh
think.
boy.
Hold on, let me see. I think there's a art of Titus.
Yeah, it's other arcs that you can get keychains too. But I just Spirit just jumped on me and say, see if they got Archer Titus keychains, and they do.
Yeah, here we go. The Millennium Gate Museum in Atlanta. I don't know what's wrong with my speakers, but Jewish news. I want some pictures though. Oh, that just like generated another tab. It said, well, this thing real quick. The Millennium Gate Museum in Atlanta is a 100-foot tall monument in Atlantic Station modeled after the ancient Ark of Titus in Rome, Italy, which opened in 2008. 7-story structure celebrates Georgia's history, culture, and peaceful accomplishments. Blah 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 blah. So there you go, right there. Millennium Gate Museum has a replica of Ark of Titus. Uh, okay, in Atlanta. Look at that. Look at that shit. A
Man,
replica of it. So they're proud of that. That's part of Edomite history. That's one of his, W's that he in his mind, I should say, that he got. I guess it's supposed to be, I don't know. It's probably multiple of them, really. You know what I'm saying? So throughout the world, But anyway, let's go back here. Let me see. Oh, I was gonna get second Ezra's 12 real quick. Second Ezra's 12 and 28. Okay. Because this chapter, which we're gonna obviously go into, but it pretty much breaks down the 11th, but so we might actually end up going through this whole chapter pretty quickly when we do the next lesson. But it says, for the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself. Okay, so let's ask the chat, what happened between Titus, oops, and Domitian. Did they fight between each other? No, Titus and Domitian did not fight each other, and there was no civil war between them. They were brothers, sons of Vespasian, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. No open conflict. Okay. So it looks like Titus died suddenly, and then Domitian became emperor after him. Okay, no civil war occurred after that. Okay. So it was looks like it was pretty much a transition after that, from Titus to Domitian, and that last head being Domitian. Okay. Um, and let me see here. Okay, verse 36, it says, then I had a voice, excuse me, let's just say heard. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, look before thee and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood. Okay, now this roaring lion is talking about Yahushua. Okay. When you get in Revelation, the 5th chapter, real quick. Okay, Revelation, the 5th chapter. Let me see here. And verse 4 and 5, it says, and I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. Okay, verse 5, and one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals thereof. Okay, right, because Yahweh Shai, once the sacrifice that he made was finished, okay, he was ultimately granted, the ability to go into the things, that are going to come to pass in the last days and share that with his men. Okay, and ultimately, the seven seals is, the last events that's going to happen before his return. Okay, so going back again, it's referring to Yahweh Shai as that lion. Okay, verse 37, excuse me, 2 Esdras 11 and 37. And I beheld, and lo, as it were, a roaring lion chased out of the wood. Okay, and I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle and said, hear thou, I will talk with thee. It kind of reminds me of what was that movie Chronicles of Narnia where the lion was talking? I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
Yep.
When a lion was
Yeah,
talking.
I vaguely remember it, but I remember it.
Yeah, yeah, and the lions don't normally talk, but this is basically a vision that Ezra is seeing, right? It says he's speaking to the eagle, the lion speaking to the eagle, which that lion again represents Yahweh Shai. Um, and I'm gonna hold Daniel. Actually, hold on, let me see here. Uh, I'm gonna get Daniel. I'm gonna hold Daniel 2. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get Daniel 7 first. Yeah, I know there's a couple actually that I forgot to get. Hold on, I'm gonna get. Okay, not yet. I didn't get it yet. Okay, so Daniel 7. I'm actually gonna get that first. Daniel 7. Okay, got to get that little horn scripture, and then also Daniel 2. Hold both of these on deck. Daniel 2 and like verse 40 ish. Rome. Yep. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's read this again. Second Ezra 11 and 39. It says, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, okay, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them, right? So what's the four beasts? What's the four beasts that the lion is making reference to here? Okay, the four beasts that are spoken about in Daniel the 7th chapter. Okay, Daniel the 7th chapter. Remember, you got the lion with the eagle's wings going into the Babylonian Empire. All right, then you got the second beast likened unto a bear going into the Medo-Persian Empire. The third beast like unto a leopard and with wings of a fowl going into the Grecian Empire, which was Esau. And then the fourth beast, right? Which it just says that he was a beast, terrible and strong. Okay. This is the same fourth beast that Yahweh Shai, because remember, Daniel preceded. Oh, now is the time for my timeline to shine. Daniel, where's the timeline one at? Okay, we go.
Yeah, when you go into Revelation 20, when you go into Revelation 20, it goes into that those couple 1,000-year periods. You know what I'm saying? So that the revival of the Roman Empire is where you get the Revelation and then going into that. So the Revelation 20 and 4, it goes into the 1,000-year period that you about to touch on.
Yep, that's right. Con. Well, yeah, I was just gonna show real quick on the timeline of uh Daniel, how Daniel was before Ezra. So you can see here, Daniel was he was basically the start of the Babylonian rule. He got taken away before all of Israel was completely exiled, but the first time they went up in there, they took the chief men and everything like that. I believe at this time Jehoiakim was one of the last kings at that time, and then but he got taken out before the temple was destroyed, and then after that you got Ezra, all right, and they get him dated around 458 BC, whereas Daniel was started around 600 BC. So this prophecy in Daniel the seventh chapter, it was known. Daniel was a known prophet at that time. It would have been like somebody preaching, 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or 50 some odd years ago. Because Daniel was known. I mean, you got to remember he was basically the second in command under the Grecian Empire. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was up there, like he was having one-on-ones with Nebuchadnezzar, breaking down dreams for him, you know. So Daniel was it talked about how he was a governor, and had provinces under him. I can't remember, it was like 13 provinces under him or something. So Daniel was a high member of society. So his prophecies were known of, right? And so Ezra would have known about these prophecies. And basically when it talks about in that the remainest the remainest of the four beasts, okay, again, that's making reference to Daniel the seventh chapter. All right. Okay, Daniel the seventh chapter, and I'll read verses 7, all right, which ties into verse 8. All right, it says, and after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast. Okay, and as we went into this last time, Esau already got oh, he don't want to say it on this one. Hold on. Daniel 2, he got it already lined up, okay, in the blue letter. You know what I'm saying? Which Daniel 2 and Daniel the seventh chapter are pretty much synonymous in that how they order the kingdoms one after another. But Esau doesn't want to say that the beast in Daniel 7 is Rome, because if you say that, then what about the little horn, which we're going to get to? But it says, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. Again, that's the Roman Empire. And it had great iron teeth. All right. It used military, the metals that they used and everything like that were superior, and were able to, like as it says here, devour and break in pieces. Okay. Who were they devouring and breaking in pieces? All of the enemies. We went into that. We touched on it in First Maccabees. Was it 18 or was it chapter 8? See, First Maccabees, I think it was 18. But anyway,
What
basically
you
when it
looking
talks
for?
about First Maccabees, when Judas Maccabees made a pact with Rome, I was just making reference to it about how
Oh, okay.
it goes in, about how it goes into the the Roman Republic and everything like that, how they have power and everything.
Correct.
Um, it says, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. We went into this last week. We know the breakdown of this, right? Diverse because it had the Senate, okay, and 10 horns were the different city states, vassal states that were controlled or that were part of the Roman Empire and controlled by the Roman Empire. It says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. So this little horn right here, all right, this is ultimately the Babylonian, or excuse me, the Babylon the Great, okay, or America, all right, the American Empire that came up out of the because it says there came up among them from of the 10. So they were of this little horn has to be of the 10 horns, right? Of one of the 10 horns, which one of those 10 horns is the United Kingdom. Okay. The UK basically birthed America, the United States of America, Babylon the Great. Okay. That's why it became a country after the Revolutionary War against Great Britain, right? It says, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots, right? So what were the three of the first horns? The French, the Spanish, and the UK, right? Because you had
Yep.
the those different wars between those three countries against America. You know, you gonna
Yep.
say something, Swan?
Spanish, French. Yep. Spanish, French, and British, and then it talks about the eighth coming out of the seventh. You know what I'm saying? America springing up out of Britain, like you said.
That's right. That's right. And so, with that being said, the reason why I want to basically touch on that again, when you go to verse 38, 39, let's go back here. Okay. Again, um, verse 39, coming from the mouth of the lion, art not thou it that remainest? Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them. So the end of Esau's time, okay, because this beast system has been revived, okay. The scriptures talk about, I believe, is it in Revelation 12 where it says he had power to give life unto the beast? Was that 13?
Revelation 13.
Yeah. Okay. So the beast right now is speaking. Okay, it's been revived through that basically the little season in Revelation 20. I know you mentioned it. The little season, okay, that we're in right now, that is the times that's the times that started from the Renaissance period up until now, that
Mm-hmm.
Esau is been loosed, all right, and creating all kinds of havoc and mayhem on the earth, as we can see currently in current events daily, that this devil is showing his horns continually. You can't hide him. Okay. And the other scripture I wanted to get again was Daniel, the second chapter, okay, which touches on the same thing. The fourth kingdom is the fourth beast in Daniel 7. And I wanted to get all this is good. So I want to get let me just line this up real quick. I'm gonna keep reading here and then I'll get Daniel 2. This is second Esdras 11 and 40. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past. Yeah, going into the history of that. Well, I guess we gotta get it now in Daniel 2. We'll start up at 40, verse 40. All right. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, because iron is stronger than I think above this one was brass, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
brass, and then silver, and then the head of gold, right? So iron is the least valuable as far as money is concerned, monetary concerned, but it is the strongest. Okay, and so it will break all of the other metals in comparison. So it says, "For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise." Okay, so again, uh, um, every um, empire that followed the one that preceded it overtook that one. Basically, if that makes sense. Like basically, the Persians overtook the Babylonians. The Grecians overtook the Persians and the Medes. The Romans overtook the Grecians. So that means that the Romans was stronger than all of them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so it says verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, all right, the kingdom shall be divided. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
at the end you're going to see division, okay, which ultimately we did see the Roman Empire get divided at the end. All right, but at these last times, the American empire, if you will, is gonna go through the same thing when you go into scriptures like Revelation the 18th chapter, Isaiah the 24th chapter. Those chapters talk about how the earth is gonna basically upheave Israel out of power. The Lord is gonna allow this whole kingdom that Esau set up to be taken out of power, to be taken down. All right. It says and this is exactly what Second Ezra's 11 and 40 is going into. All right. It says, there we go. Verse 40. Let's see, I got that. Verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Okay, you're even seeing that today with yeah, Esau got the strong military might, the Babylon the Great, United States, they have the strongest military, but you have some of the, for example, one of the horns, one of the heads, Spain, is openly condemning the United States for partaking in the war with Iran, with the state of Israel right now, right? And that's just one small example. There's other things that basically are gonna continue to rear their head, in these last days. But basically, there's division that is continuing to strengthen itself from the whore and the beast. It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Yeah, so it's not going to be strong. It's not going to be firm and united, even though the name of the United States, America is not united. Okay. And here's the point in verse 44. All right. It says, in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. All right. Because that's basically what he wants. Esau wants to, that's why he's going to set up the MOTB, because he wants to set up the next kingdom. Basically, like, all right, the end of this kingdom, the elites, they're like, okay, look, we're going to end the American empire, and we're going to set up another empire after that. But that's not going to be the case. All right. The kingdom shall not be left to other people. It's going to be for Israel. Okay. And so, and that's going to be permanent. All right. It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Okay, so that's Yahushua. The kingdom of Yahushua is what is going to overcome, all right, this fourth beast. All right. And
Yep, and that's also proof that there ain't gonna be um Edomites that's gonna come up after 1,000 years and jump us and put us back in slavery. Like, nah, this is the end of it. So all these other groups that's talking that crazy stuff, your timeline is off. You see, if you're not going according to the Lord's timeline, you just you know what I'm saying, putting yourself in danger. With the Lord putting you in danger. But yeah,
right.
come on now, you got it.
Con. Real quick, Obadiah 1:21, it says, and Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Okay, so that's part of prophecy. All right. Israel is going to judge Esau in the last days. All right. And that's why Esau doesn't want to admit that he's Esau. The true Edomites will never admit that they're Esau. Esau. Everybody wants to say, "Yeah, I'm Judah. I'm Ben Amin. I'm Levi." You know, but really, you're Amalek. You're Teman. You're Mount Seir. You're the nation of Esau.
Mhm.
Okay, and so what's going to happen from that? Again, verse 40. All right, it says, oh, I'm sorry, I need to get a precept. Second Thessalonians 2. Yeah, because this devil is being revealed right now. Second Thessalonians. So this is what's happening to stop this madness that he's I didn't mean to press that he's pushing, trying to act like the people. All right, it says Second Thessalonians 2:8. All right, then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
And so, can you
Okay,
pull that word for reveal, Baba Kasha?
con, I got you. All right, revealed, apocalypto, apocalypto. All right, reveal, uncover, lay open what has been veiled or covered up. to disclose or make bare. When you disclose information,
Mm,
you're letting somebody know something that they didn't already know, right? To make manifest, to make known, to disclose what before was unknown.
all right, that's what
So,
I'm saying. So at one point, if we didn't know who the wicked was, now we do. And it's
yep,
based off prophecy. It's based off deeds. It's based off the scriptures. You got it.
Con, that's exactly right. All right. So again, he is being revealed. Okay, the wicked is being revealed,
And you see how that
disclosed.
W was capitalized in wicked.
Right.
That
Yep.
means it's specific. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
Con.
Capitalized. Let's see what that say.
Yeah. Yeah. Con. Yeah.
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 So when you
Esau.
see angel capitalized, it means something different than not capitalized. So if it's the
Yeah.
wicked and it's capitalized, that means it's being specific. You see? You got it.
Yeah. Departing from the law, violator of the law. The word for wicked is anomos. Kind of sounds like animosity.
Yeah.
Um. So all right. So far as the definition, it says destitute of the law, departing from the law, violator of the law, lawless or wicked.
Yeah. You destitute of the law. You see?
Yeah.
The law don't apply to Esau, right? Who are out of was it
What does that
Psalms
do?
50?
Declare my statutes.
You see?
Yeah. Hmm.
So who did so who is he talking to? Talking to Edom. Who are you to declare my statutes? You ain't no other nation saying they're the Israelites.
Right. Yep. Yeah. You don't got Moab out there saying, yeah, we're of the nation of Naphtali, like or the tribe of, you know what I mean? Tribe of Naphtali, I should say. You know, they know. Even Cush, the Cushites know that they're the Cushites. Ishmael knows that they're Ishmael. You know what I'm saying? You know, but for some reason, this devil, he want to wiggle like he's not Esau. Nobody questions who's Esau on the earth. You know, because they did away with that history. They did their best to try to hide their identity, I should say.
Apostle
This is
Gabar
Psalm.
always say you can't understand the mystery if you don't know the history.
That's right.
So all these assholes out here to say the Apocrypha ain't canon, that's what I'm saying. You missed part two of a trilogy, dumb motherfucker. You can't make a biography of it. Yeah. You can't make money off a series and you ain't seen all the movies.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep. This is verse 41, second Ezra 11. It says, actually, I'm sorry. I didn't finish verse 40. All right. It says, and the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were passed and had power over the world with great fearfulness. All right. Now we're transitioning to the last days of the last days of these times, which he did it back then during the Roman Empire, but now it's the same thing again. Okay. So the prophecies are speaking, all right, volumes now, especially with Babylon the Great being on the scene and doing basically the same atrocities that it did back then during the Roman Empire. Now it's doing it again over here in the land of Arsareth, aka America, right? It says, and over the whole compass of the earth. Now he has power over the whole earth now. All right. The American Empire, all right, which is run by Esau, is now has power over the whole earth. You know what I'm saying? He spread his tentacles everywhere: Australia, Africa, South America, North America, Asia, Europe, everywhere. Okay. And it says, and so long time dwelt upon the earth with deceit. Yeah, this devil, again, acting as if he's not an Edomite. You know what I mean? You deceiving the people. Just you trying to act like not claim your nation. Okay. And
Not an Edomite. I'm white.
right, yeah. I'm not, yeah. Yeah.
You a red Edomite, bitch.
You ain't white no more. You a Edomite.
Your
That's what
ugly.
Kendrick Lamar should have said. He should have said, he said half of it right. He should have said the other half too. But then he wouldn't have got no publication on that, you
Oh
know.
man.
Notice he cut that off quick too. He ain't say, but it is what it is. But yeah, all right.
Oh, that's all right. That's why I say that move ain't gonna work out for him.
Yeah, you know. But quick precept, Psalms 55 and 20. All right, it says he hath put forth his hands, all right, against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Okay, and we bring this out, verse 21. We bring it out all the time. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Okay, so yeah, you're trying to basically make agreements and pacts. Even the Iranians know not to make pacts with the United States, with Israel, with Esau. Okay, because while they were having peace talks, negotiations, right? That's what they all said. Yeah, negotiations, and then they do preemptive strikes. And everybody on the news, all the global economists are saying, look, like the Iranians, like they had mediators there, like they didn't breach their form part of the agreement, blah blah blah. All right, but what the American media will tell you is that, oh yeah, we had to do it. If we didn't do it, then we'd be in a worse position than we're in now. They forced our hand. All right, it reminds me of the typical interaction between a Jake at a traffic stop, and Esau walking up to the car with his hand on his gun, waiting for Jake to make a wrong move, you know, and then Jake reached in his pocket, pull out something, and Esau overreact. Hey, hands up. He's trigger happy,
Hmm.
he's trigger happy, and so again, war is in his heart, right? Going back to verse 41, for the earth hast thou not judged with truth. Okay. Um, it says, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit. Okay. And hath cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Right. What's that scripture that talks about he's basically taking up arms against such as been with peace with him? Um, let's see here. Uh, find it real quick. Oh, it's in Psalm. I already read it. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. That's why I was
I
so
was
sucked.
thinking. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say. I think it already came out.
Okay, I
Yep.
just want to make sure. But it just rung in my. It just that ring that sound that sings volumes right there. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. Ain't that some shit? Ever since he got over here, that's what he's done. You know. And
Hmm.
it was the same thing back then during the Roman Empire. It's the same thing today. All right. It
That's how
says,
that nigga. That's what say. That's how that nigga. He also. That's what I'm saying. He get close enough to give you a hug just so he can stab you.
mm-hmm, that's right. Yeah.
Come
I
on,
mean,
man.
look.
Let bygones be bygones. And then as soon as you fall for it, shit. Next thing you know, you leaking.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Matter of fact, on that note, I'm gonna get this in Ezekiel. This has been coming out a lot lately. Ezekiel 35. Okay.
Hmm.
And 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword at the time, excuse me, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Okay. That's what Esau, by the way. Oh, I didn't set the pretense. All right. Again, this is addressed towards Mount Seir. All right. Who's Mount Seir? Esau. Okay. The land of Seir is Esau's inheritance, his land inheritance. Okay. The Lord said he's against him. Right now, it says, because thou, talking about Esau, has had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, right? Because, during the Babylonian Empire, the Assyrian Empire, these different times, various different times, Esau was always there, when to help and aid in our downfall, right? It says, in the time that their iniquity had an end, therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Seest thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Okay. And it proceeds to talk about how Syria is going to be desolate, so on and so forth, right? His men are going to be slain. So he's going to get exactly what he wants. He wants war. Changing the name of the Department of the Defense, Department of War. He wants war. He's going to get blood. Blood is going to pursue him. Okay, again, because he doesn't think that he can be touched because of that pride, right? Verse 43, back in 2nd Esdras 11. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. What we bring out all the time. Revelation 18, right? Revelation 18, there's sins of stacked unto heaven, right? Or reached unto heaven. Verse 5, Revelation 18 and 5, right? See, we're right on the time. Okay, we're good. All right, continuing on. In verse 44, the highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. Okay, so he had a prescribed amount of time, all right, before his kingdom was going to go down. All right, precept here, Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall.
Yep.
Okay.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. And based off prophecy, we know this the end of Esau's world. You see, based off prophecy, we know that Jacob's kingdom is about to rise. You see, and it's all gonna come to a head with the MOTB, the whole hour of temptation thing. You see, at the end, it's gonna be an hour of temptation. Period. Point blank. And if you can't see that we at the end, based off the scriptures and based off the prophecy, it's because the Lord's setting you up to get caught out there. You got it.
Yep. Let me see here. All right. 2nd Ezra 15 and 5.
Keep on
Right.
thinking the Lord gonna love you anyway.
Right.
No matter
Mm-hmm.
what you do, the Lord gotta love you anyway. The scriptures ain't never said that.
Right.
2/3 gonna get fucked up before it get better.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. It ain't nowhere in the scriptures. Ain't nobody get to do what the fuck they want to do and skate off. Go ahead.
The scripture say, we're punished for our iniquities, but the Lord scourges his enemies 1,000 times more. You know, 2nd Ezra 15 and 5, it says, Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and her hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, so that implies that there was a predetermined amount of time, kind of like a jar being filled up to the brim, to say, okay, once it reaches this level, then I'm gonna pour out my wrath. Okay, and just because that time period may be longer than your short lifespan doesn't mean that it's outside of the scope of the Most High's operation. Okay.
Right.
And so we read verse 44. Verse 45 says, And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body. So the Lord, he is going to permanently dismantle and obliterate all remnants of the eagle, all right, the fourth beast, all remnants of the Roman Empire revamped. This new empire, the Neo-Babylonian, I'll say the Babylon the Great Empire, because the Neo-Babylonian Empire was with Nebuchadnezzar, um, but yeah, the Babylonian, Babylon the Great, excuse me, all right, is going to be completely done away with. All right, it says that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. All right, so unless wickedness is removed from the earth, then it cannot come that which is good. Read about
That's
that.
why. That's why Obadiah say Esau shall be stubble.
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
right.
in the last days, so it all links up together. You see, Ezra's was giving the game, bro.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he was giving the game. So that lines up with what Obadiah was talking about. You see, the end of Esau Edom. You got it.
That's it. Con. This is the last one I had here was in Psalms 85 and 11. It says, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, Yahweh Shem Shai shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. Okay, so when Esau's when the curse of the earth is taken out, all right, um, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. Okay, and ultimately, we're not gonna. I mean, that's gonna be the kingdom. Like basically, with this devil out of the picture, all right, with the serpent. Oh, I guess we can end it off on that. The old serpent, that old serpent getting burnt up. Okay, here we go. Which one do I want? This this isn't the one. This is the one here. Yep. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Revelation 12, verses 7 through 9. It says, and there was war in heaven. All right, this ain't talking about for you I don't even know what anti-Messiah Christians, bobblehead Christians. This ain't talking about a spiritual war, all right, in heaven that took place in the past. No, all right. This is talking about again the spirit of the Lord, all right, physically coming. Well, the spirit of Yahweh Shai and the angels coming in the form of the chariots of the Lord, all right, to overthrow this devil. Okay, and
But it's the Lord showing up with the angels in the midst of World War III.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. Right. It says, and there was war in heaven because we established heaven isn't only just a spiritual area, like the heavens can also be the sky too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And space and all that. And Michael and his
Check this
angels.
out. Check this out.
Uh-huh.
You got under the firmament, the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
different forms of heaven. It's levels to it. You
Mm-hmm.
see? But the best way to explain it is you got inside the firmament, outside the firmament, which is outer space, and then you got the spiritual realm. You see?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no GPS to get to the spirit world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They act like they one day they gonna make a zig when they supposed to zag and run into the spirit world. Like, no, it's a whole different dimension.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And if you don't know that, it's not gonna make sense to you.
Right. It says, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. All right.
That's gonna happen.
Trump.
That's gonna happen within the firmament.
Yeah. 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 Trump got his space force and all that shit. And they also have different vehicles and I'm gonna say vehicles in the widest sense possible that they don't reveal to the public. You know what I'm saying? Technology that they haven't revealed, you know. Um, it says and prevailed not. All right. So the uh the dragon, all right, which is Rome revamped, aka America, is gonna lose. Okay. And it's not gonna only just be America, you're gonna have the other NATO nations again, trying to keep their footing because they're Edomites too, most of them, the seven heads at least. It says, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. So they're not going to have no more authority over the earth. Okay, they're not going to have any air force, any space force, nothing like that. Once the Lord is done with them, which actually that's a spirit. After we get finished chapters 12, we're gonna go into second Esdras 13, which talks about that war in heaven. It says, and the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which what does devil mean? Devil means deceiver. Satan means adversary.
That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. That's Esau all day.
Yeah.
The deceiving ass adversary.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Which deceiveth the whole world. Okay. Which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out of the, cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay. He thrown down. Okay. He's going to be thrown down at all the different, the nigga been flying planes for 100 years. All right. In war. That shit's going to be thrown down. Okay. And he's going to basically be destroyed. Okay. He's going to be destroyed, taken down, defeated. So, that's pretty much, and we bring out, I'm not going to go into it, but then after that, immediately goes into the accuser of our brethren being cast down, right? Being overcome. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. So this is all prophecy, man. So but that's the end of the chapter in second Esdras 11. So we'll save the next chapter for the next lesson. But yeah, Lord willing, well, I don't know if did you have any other points, Aquan, before I close out?
Nah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Lord willing, Abaratazah, this is an edifying lesson. With that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Achak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, and that was a great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Till next time, shalom.
Shalom.